Hey. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for joining the StewKast. I am Lou Marconi at L Marconi251 on Instagram, at L Marconi 1973 on X. Thank you for joining me. Corey Castle was running a little bit late. He'll be joining me shortly. He said he was coming on as soon as he can. Waited as long as I could, but I had to get on. So we're going to do several things here. We're going to talk about Halloween Havoc, and I'm going to talk about a statement that WWE released. I'm going to wait for Corey to jump on, and we could obviously discuss that statement as well. He should be on at any moment. So what I wanted to talk about first and foremost was a statement that was released by WWE just the other day, and I'm going to try to read this from my phone. It was October 29th, 2024, and it's about how WWE launches new indie wrestling development program, which I think will be interesting. So we could talk about that. But I also want to thank you for joining us. The StewCast is on the Combat Zone Wrestling Network, Combat Zone Podcasting Network, excuse me, which is a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, make your comments. Much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and pause at this moment for a break from our sponsors. Okay, we're back. Thank you. How about those sponsors? All right, let's go ahead and do this. WWE launches new indie wrestling development program. So on October 29th, 2024, WWE, part of TKO Holdings, New York Stock Exchange, TKO, today announced the launch of a first of its kind development program designed to provide up and coming independent wrestlers a pathway to potential career in WWE. This program is called WWE ID, for short, WWE Independent Development. Okay, sounds good. WWE ID is the latest in our efforts to identify and support the journey of up and coming wrestlers, in turn raising their profile and strengthening the independent wrestling ecosystem, uh, said WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H, which is Paul Levesque. Following the 2021 launch of WWE's NIL program, WWEID has been constructed to support. Geez, it keeps. I've got this here. Hang on. Uh, WWE NIL part of WWE's like to support independent wrestling prospects and wrestling schools and world class training development and mentorship. Under the program, WWE will provide prominent independent wrestling schools with the WWE ID official designation, with a goal of providing new trainees and existing talent at these select institutions with enhanced development opportunities. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling in Houston, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory in Atlanta, Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy, Davenport, Iowa. Yep. And of course, Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, Concord, New Hampshire, KnockX Pro Academy at Los Angeles are the first WWE ID independent wrestling schools to earn the official designation. Additionally, WWE ID will identify top independent wrestling prospects with an official WWE ID prospect designation and support their development journey by providing financial opportunity and assisting with training, mentorship. I think Corey's coming here, and development, including access to um, world, geez, just the way to world class facilities, best in class ring training. All right, here we go. Athletic trainers and more. WWID will give fans the the opportunity to follow the paths of these standout prospects in the independent wrestling scene through curated behind the scenes content, as well as highlights and matches showcased across WWE social platforms. Okay, I just read that statement that we went over yesterday
Right.
with the WWE indie program before we talked about Halloween Havoc. So you read it too. So I just read it to the audience.
Right.
So you want to give? I just decided to read it verbatim from my
Yeah.
phone, which was a mistake. So thanks for joining us, Corey. This is my co-host Corey Castle at Corey Castle everywhere, And we could follow us also on the Sunday Stew Pod on Rumble. Follow him at Evolving with Corey Castle. Correct?
Yeah, and now it's to the point. I think if you were to go on any RSS feed, any podcast feed that you would like look up, and you just
Hmm.
looked up evolving, it's no longer evolving with Corey Castle. It's just evolving.
Just
But
Evolving. Okay.
but if you wanted to narrow your search down, you could search Corey Castle, and you would find me, of course.
Yep. Yep. Corey Castle. Very good. Very good. Good deal,
Um,
man. So go ahead. Tell me your thoughts on this developmental program.
so this is gonna change the landscape, man. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
seeing anything like it's not going to be an immediate scratch to any itch, but I mean, it's going
Yeah.
to uh, eventually, like, kind of absorb up the like the quality of independent wrestling, and hopefully up the quality of every independent wrestling show.
Well, we can only hope for that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, we can only hope. Well, I
I mean,
also think. Go ahead.
it's been a couple years where people were like, "Well, the independent wrestling scene's not going to last. Like, it's gonna fade away."
Well, they need to get their talent from somewhere,
Yeah,
right? So,
right,
they need to do that. So that's that they need to develop it because yeah, we all know time gets the best of us. The guys aren't going to be around forever. You need to think that way. See, the thing that sucks is when you broke in 2003 and when I broke in 93, there was nothing like this at the available. You were just hoping somebody noticed you somewhere.
right, right.
Pretty much it. You just got booked and you just did your thing and then you just that's it.
Yeah, I was kind of
So
at the mercy of what my surroundings were, really.
yeah, we all were. You're right.
Right.
That's a good way to put it. So for younger guys out there that might be watching this show or people trying to break into the business, take advantage of this. This wasn't there. There's a lot of things technology wise that were not there. And I'm talking
Right.
about not just wrestling pods. You got veteran guys on podcasts that have a wealth of knowledge
Oh yeah,
of
dude,
ring
you can
psychology and
listen
everything.
you can
Oh,
listen to the random thoughts of Dutch Mantel and Jim Cornette on a daily basis. Uh,
Robert Fuller.
right,
Yep. Arn Anderson, all these guys. Oh my goodness. They
right,
just the story. Yeah, you could learn. Well, back then when you rode with somebody, you rode in a car, and that's how you talked, and that's when you listened. The car was the classroom. That's where you learned,
right.
and you learned by getting the experience in the ring and listening to the veterans, and you could tell who was going to make it and who wasn't because just by their attitude. Just that by their attitude, they just thought they were the shit. They thought they were going to be us, and they didn't want to listen and get better. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this works. I really, I think it's exciting because considering that they're looking to understand where their future is and looking long term, you need to have a pipeline of talent. So
I think
that's
I think when I first started, a lot of people
mm,
were ramping me up, like they're like, "You're gonna be huge in this business, like you've
I
got it
heard the
all."
same shit. Yeah, I heard the
And
same shit.
and it did me a disservice. You know what I mean? It really truly did. My head got big real quick, and it was, you
I
know,
got stories. I got stories. Yep,
right.
mine too.
Be
Because my
be
bubble burst.
careful. Yeah, be careful about who you listen to. This is my
Yeah,
piece of
yeah.
advice that I would say to or what you listen to, not who you listen to, but what you listen
And,
to and
and
what
keep in mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just sorry. But keep in mind, most of the wrestlers on the independents suck. Most of them are terrible. Most of them, and I'm talking about, yeah, if you're one of the top 5 in the indies, they're not the rest of them just aren't that good. They can't do shit, and they're horrible, and they don't know anything. And
right,
I said it. I don't care. Most of the independent because I was in when I worked the show in Harrisburg when I wrestled Tito Santana. I did a back to back with him. He told me 3 weeks on the road with you, I'll have you ready. Because the problem is you're working guys on indies, and you're getting into bad habits to protect yourself,
right,
which that happens. He goes, I'll be there. You don't have to put me there. I'll be there. So that's really the second night went so much smoother just by listening to Tito. So
right.
anyway, go ahead, man. What else do you want to add? One last thing before we get on to Halloween Havoc. Halloween
Well,
Havoc was actually I liked the show. So go
I
ahead.
completely missed it. I
Oh, okay.
I
Okay,
I
that's
did
fine.
it.
We could talk
I
about
did
this
it.
then.
I did a film shoot last night, so I completely missed Halloween Havoc, and uh, my bad on that. Excuse me.
No, 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 it's cool.
But but yeah, it's like it's tough. It's tough to trust resources when the resources that you trust are people who aren't good either. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, I remember I worked a show, and I can't remember what show it was, and I can't remember who the guy was, but they were like, this guy's really good, and you're really good, so your guys' match is going to be awesome. So I went into it expecting that guy to be on my level, and for sure he wasn't.
Mm,
And people who I trusted told me that this was going to be good, so I overbuilt it in my head like it was going to be something really good,
mhm.
and this guy was clearly not on my level. So it has to be. It has to. I taught myself at that point to consider the source of any piece of advice or any piece of guidance that you try to get from somebody who like you're supposed to trust. Like think about the fact that they're giving you advice and they're coming from a place where they're a person who isn't your size, who isn't your weight, who isn't your like they have no
Yeah,
idea what it's like to to be the type of wrestler that you are. So
right.
they're just speaking in generalities.
Yeah,
So we got to factor those into what we trust and what we live off of.
right, right. That's true. That is true. And like I said, when when I told you my story was it was in December of '95. I was talking to Tommy Dreamer about coming into work for ECW. I sent him a tape. Taz and Perry Saturn looked at it. They said he's green. He needs more experience.
Mhm.
And Tommy thought the same thing. He wanted to make sure he was he, and he told me he goes if you could go to Memphis, go someplace. You just need to work for more in front of people. That's what he told me. He goes, you got it, but you can move. And it was like a punch to the gut to me.
Right.
And he also told me to make sure. He goes, he gave me really good advice that stuck with me for the rest of my career. Was pay attention where you're at. And I said, I go, what do you mean by that? And he goes, if you're at a promotion, especially if you're new, if everybody else is wrestling, brawl. If everybody else is brawling, wrestle. If people are talking, don't talk on the mic. Make yourself stand out. You'll get over. And he goes, and also don't forget to sell with your head up and let them see your face. Those are the three things I want you to work on. 2 years, I took his advice. I listened to him. It was a punch in the gut, but I needed to hear it. 2 years later, I ended up working for him. And he shook my hand. He goes, I'm glad you listened. And he walked away. That's what he said to me. Him and I have been cool ever since. He goes, most guys, he even said that. He goes, most guys would have been like, well, fuck this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about and wouldn't listen.
Mhm.
And I didn't. So I didn't do it that way. I kind of came on. Uh, that's the advice too. When a veteran guy that's somewhere in the business, like Tommy Dreamer was at that point in time. I mean, he was in that big
Mhm.
feud with Raven at the time,
Right.
and
Right.
he was trained by Johnny Rods, and Johnny Rods and Charlie Fulton were brother-in-laws, and he knew Charlie. Charlie, Charlie knew Tommy too. So it was just one of those things that. Thank you. I thought, okay, well, I've done well on the Indies. I'm ready for ECW. No, I wasn't. I wasn't ready. I
Right.
thought I was, but I wasn't. So, and there's you looking back, there was a lot of things I wasn't ready for, and I had to deal with.
Right.
It happens. It happens when you're ready. So that's just keep working at it and listen to the right people. That's the best thing. But this program, this WWE ID, I think it's a wonderful thing. I hope it works out. I hope it really does. Speaking of which, the NXT that was a good product. I don't know if did you, okay. It was Ethan Page and Trick Williams.
Yeah.
Was Yeah, the pinfall happened in the ring, which I guess was okay to have that happen because it was one of those falls count anywhere type of things. They had it in the ring, which was pretty good work. But I like the way they did it. That match was good. The only one I was kind of looking at was that uh the Chase U guy. I forgot, I'm bad at pronouncing names and remembering names, but I can remember the face. It was the ambulance match. When the
Right.
ambulance match was happening, at first I didn't like it, but as it progressed, it got better. I was like, okay,
I'm never a fan of ambulance matches. I don't like it as a gimmick. Like I don't like it.
yeah,
I don't like it as
yeah,
a presentation. Like it doesn't
yeah.
feel. It doesn't
It didn't
feel
feel too good, but they
good.
actually did a good job with it. They did dealing with it. The opener was the table, ladders, chairs, which was the D'Angelo guy and the
Uh-huh.
other dude. That was the opener. It was kinda like the opener of Bad Blood when it was CM Punk, the Hell in the Cell. It's like all
Right.
this crap's happening in the first match, and I'm going, "Oh." But the women's matches were good too. The tag match was good. The gauntlet match was good. So, I'm trying to think what else. I'm going through the show in my head. Um, yeah, they had a
Did
title change, which the title change was a women's
did they
match.
have the
Yeah.
whole like the cool entranceway set up with the
Yeah.
graveyard stuff and the little
Yeah, yeah, oh,
Slim
yeah. Yeah,
Jim
it was
guy?
all yeah. Yeah, it
Nice.
was good. It was good, man. It was good. It worked out. I'm trying to think. What was the other I'm trying to remember what the other matches were. I think I pretty much covered them all because they had the opener, which was the D'Angelo family, then the women's tag, they had the women's gauntlet match. Um, yeah, the the North America title match with Ethan Page, which was pinfalls count anyway. I know there's probably one more I'm missing here. If you can, I'll pull it up and I'll tell you right now. Go ahead, just keep talking. Go ahead and give your opinion on things while I talk, while I do my research.
I mean, NXT NXT is probably it's gonna become the goal. It probably has become the goal for a lot of people to go like I want to go there and I want to do that. Like it's less of just like a to people's minds, to the front of their minds. They're not going. That's just a developmental territory to get you ready for the main roster. People are going. That's a pro wrestling show, and I want to be a part of it. So it's it's cool to watch that happen. So it's also cool to watch that happen on the micro of like
Yeah,
of the independent scene, which you're not going to see. And I didn't recognize all the names of all the companies and or all the schools that got absorbed up into the WWE ID program. But I saw, the Nightmare Factory and the Black and the Brave and
yeah,
um, what was what was the other ones? Booker T's in Houston,
yeah, and
reality of
yeah.
wrestling.
There's another one in Connecticut, I think, and okay, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade hopped. All right. Okay, this was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Trick Williams defended NXT Championship in a brutal Devil's Playground match. Yeah, he beat Ethan Page, which was good.
Mhm.
Uh,
I like
Roxanne
Ethan
Perez and
Page
Cora
a lot.
Jade hope to make a statement, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, Obafemi, yeah, I like what they did. Women's North American Championship. Andre Chase. Okay, yeah, yeah. Ridge Holland was the one that did that.
Oh yeah, he was the guy
Okay,
who like he like crippled Biggie Langston, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
the,
Roxanne Perez, yeah, yeah. The women's tag match with Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Julia, and Stephanie Vega. Yeah. Let's see what else. I'm thinking if I'm missing a match here. Yeah, no, no, no. I think I covered all of them. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Gauntlet, Kalani Jordan versus Fatal Influence, and the yeah, Henley won the North American Women's Belt. Devil's Playground. Yeah, that was it. I could have swore I thought I was missing a match, but I wasn't. See, I don't
they
write.
didn't have any TNA crossovers on this show on
I
this
don't think
event.
so. I don't think so. No, yeah. There's people are. I mean, I looked at the show and I thought it was a good show. I just said, okay, I was entertained. I look at it that way. I was entertained and I was happy to have it. I'm really looking forward to Crown Jewel, and that's next weekend. So next week we're going to review Crown Jewel, if that's
Right.
correct. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And any let me see here. Any other news that you wanted to go over? Because we got about 4 or 5 minutes left.
Um, did did you see the I didn't see it. I just heard people talking about it. Was the Pierce Morgan the Pierce Morgan uncensored appearance that had like Maven was on it, and Jonathan Coachman and Vince Russo.
No, what were they doing on there?
They were talking about Vince McMahon. Um, I didn't see it, so I wanted to see if you had seen it or not.
No, I did not see it.
I,
Sorry.
I just heard kind of a
I
Jim
didn't
Jim
even know about
Cornette's breakdown of the whole thing, and I was like,
it.
yeah, I don't need to watch this. I'm fine.
It's probably Cornette. I guarantee you, knowing Corny, he shit on it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly as appropriate.
Yeah, which sounds like we said Vince Russo, Maven, and who else?
Jonathan Coachman
Jonathan
and
Coachman.
the New York Times guy, Richard Belzer, I guess is the guy who.
Belzer was a comedian that Hogan knocked
No,
out. I
no,
think he's
okay.
dead now.
What was the guy? The guy who was
Oh,
on the
the New York,
documentary,
the New York Times guy that was basically had a hard on for McMahon to get
right?
him.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy
boy, the
was a
language is really
surprise.
good today. That you know what? Magnum TA made a great comment. Says I can think of at least 19 other guys that makes him look like a Boy Scout. I mean, he said that, and he's
Mhm.
right. I mean, there's a lot of dirtbags and scumbags in the pro wrestling business that we haven't even scratched the surface on. Guys that are real pieces of works.
Well, I
And
mean, I've been saying, and I think this goes for all of entertainment, and I say it on my podcast, Evolving with Corey Castle. If you ever check it out, uh, I say, like, if you decided that you wanted to get into this entertainment game, like if you have this like look at me hole, this like attention seeking look
mhm,
at me hole, there has to be some unchecked damage that you've got from your childhood, that like your upbringing maybe wasn't the best. There's some something, I don't want to say wrong with you, but yeah, probably some damage, something that was, you know, that this serves as a band-aid to something deeper.
yeah. Well, yeah. If you're doing it for the ego and the glory,
Right.
that's not really going to help. It's not going to help what your issue might be.
Hmm.
Um, I I have to tell you, like people that are trying to pile up on McMahon now, it's like I don't know what they're trying to accomplish or what their goal
Well,
might be.
it's really just it's just an easy target now at this point because
Yeah,
there's already so much on them.
uh,
So like people are like, well, I know that the masses will understand and have my back on this because everybody else is piling on them. So let me
yeah.
pile on.
It's like a mob mentality type of
So
thing.
it
I'm not
feels
going to do that.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I watched the doc and I heard the stories, and I'm not defending anything he's done, but I'm not gonna I don't even know if it's true. If I don't know if it's true, why should I even say anything? So whatever what Janelle Grant said,
Mhm.
there's conflicting information because I guess she sent him
Mhm.
love letters and stuff. So I not letters, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah.
messages. And so
There are layers to everything. It's
yeah,
very complicated. Like nothing is as black and white as it appears to be. Nothing is
yeah,
just it's not one of two ways. There's three ways. There's what happened, and then there's this person's side of the story and that person's side of the story. So
yeah.
I, I'm
That's true.
I'm not judging people. People, no one ever promised me that they were perfect. Um,
Oh, I
so
did.
yeah, I don't hold anybody up to a standard that I can't live up
Yeah,
to myself in being all the way
right.
perfect.
Right, understandable. And no, none of us are. Nobody is. So don't expect that. All right, folks, thank you for joining us. This is going to wrap it up. We talked about Halloween Havoc. We talked about the new WWID program, and we talked about Vince McMahon getting piled on. So,
Did,
it,
did,
yeah,
did we talk about the Heritage Coffee Roasters?
Heritage Coffee Roasters. Check out the sponsor of the show. Absolutely, Heritage Coffee Roasters. You know, I didn't put them in the details, but I'll put them in the Spotify details. Heritage Coffee Roasters. Click on the link if you're listening on Spotify. If you do, if not, we're always here on the shows.
Tell
Click
them
on
you
it,
got
and
sent by the stew.
you got set by the stew and the cast. All right. All right. Hey, guys, take care. We will see you next Wednesday. We're going to talk about Crown Jewel, and we might have a new president elect next Wednesday. It's
All
almost
right.
over. We're really glad. All
I'm
right.
so
Peace
sick
out.
of these commercials. I'm so
Uh,
sick
I'm
of
so
the
I'm
signs.
so sick of the political process
Oh
right now.
God.
So, and this isn't a
Oh,
political show, but it is an event that's going to happen. So, hey, you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Check out Hemisphere Coffee Roasters, the sponsor of the show. Thank you, and have a great day.